You know, one of my favorite things is eating. One of my favorite things is food, and I'm so excited to have John back with us from the Final Cut restaurant. Thanks for being here.
Oh, no problem. It's a pleasure.
Of course, I know many of our viewers have been to the restaurants within the Hollywood Casino. What are you doing today? Because this all looks, you know, it looks very mouth-watering, I have to say, but you make it look so easy.
Today we're here to talk about summer vegetables, grilling, and the Final Cut garden.
That's exciting that you grow your own produce.
We do. We have a beautiful garden. It is 6 by 40 foot raised beds. Currently, we have a lot of heirloom tomatoes coming out of there. We are 100% sustainable in the restaurant on our heirloom tomatoes. We've gotten some great zucchini. There's also some okra that we've gotten, and a lot of different kind of hot peppers.
And I know that, you know, you think as a consumer, you know, when you go to the supermarket and you buy things and you cook things, you think you'll never know the difference, but you get a lot of great comments from your customers.
We do. It's amazing the flavor difference between a fresh heirloom tomato coming out of the garden versus what you get at the grocery store. I mean, you can come in and these are never been refrigerated tomatoes. They're picked that afternoon in the garden, and the flavor on them is just phenomenal.
Well, growing up with a dad who insisted that everything came out of the garden, I do know the difference. And of course, when you do get things from the supermarket, you're never quite sure how long they've been there, to be honest with you, have you? So talk us through this dish here, because again, you would just make it look so simple, but I'm sure that it's not.
Okay, this dish is a version of the traditional caprese salad. What we have is some heirloom varietal tomatoes, a little bit of fresh marinated mozzarella, some zucchini that we shaved that came out of our garden, and a little bit of our roasted garden jalapenos. With that, there is some extra virgin olive oil, a 4-year-old balsamic vinegar, and some micro basil and toasted pine nuts.
I'm drooling. That's why the camera has to go in close on the food. Now, this is your cold dish that you're creating today with vegetables, and you're also preparing a hot dish for us. So talk us through that.
One of the dishes that we have on the menu is a steak and egg. It's kind of a play on the traditional breakfast dish. And what I'm doing here is a garden version. Instead of eggs and potatoes, we're going to be doing a garden vegetable ratatouille, which has some of our grilled eggplant, zucchini, and poblano peppers. They're just very lightly grilled to bring out that flavor. Then I'm going to heat them up real quick with a little bit of olive oil.
So is it fair to say that this is perhaps a bit of a healthier take on the typical steak and egg?
It is. This isn't heavy on fried potatoes or anything like that. It's basically, before I grilled these, the only seasoning on it was olive oil, salt, and pepper. And that's all that I'm adding to it now.
How can that smell so good, just being olive oil, salt, and pepper? That just already smells great. But of course, we're talking about fresh vegetables here too, which makes a huge difference.
So the sauce here, traditionally on our menu on the dish, it comes with a béarnaise sauce, which is a traditional steak sauce. This is a smoked tomato sauce. The tomatoes in that are 100% from our garden, just like all of these vegetables here are. And it's, you talked about how everything appears to be so complicated when it's really not. Everything is very simple. It's just all about how you plate it and kind of dress it up on the plate.
Right, how you present it. Now, you said that the sauce is smoked tomato.
Yes.
Tomato, because I know you're all going to make fun of me when I say tomato. So smoked tomato.
You say tomato. I say tomato, you say tomato.
Tomato, okay.
Right.
Well, then we'll do a little
works.
song and dance and it'll all be good. Gosh, that smells so good. Talk me through the, actually my producer's in my ear, she's going, it smells so good, and she's actually in the next room. It does smell really good. How would we make the sauce?
The sauce, the way I do it is I just smoke the tomatoes on the stove. Basically need a pan with wood chips on the bottom, and then some sort of a perforated pan right on top with the holes to let the smoke come up. Cut the tomatoes in half, and then wrap the whole thing in aluminum foil, and then turn it on. I wait till I see a little bit of smoke coming around the sides, and then kill the heat to it, and then basically let it sit for about 10 minutes till the smoke dissipates. Take it out, and then throw it into a blender with a little bit of sauteed onions, garlic, a little bit of Parmesan cream.
Oh, nice.
And so it turns out into a nice, beautiful, lightly smoky sauce.
If you've just joined us, we're talking to John from the Final Cut Restaurant, which of course is inside the Hollywood Casinos in West Virginia. We love having you on the show, mainly because the studio always smells so good when you leave. And we're talking about, in particular today, your garden. A lot of the vegetables that if you go to the Final Cut that you'll eat will come out of their own garden, which I think is, you know, it's so difficult for restaurants to do that. So this is such a great thing. And what's the kind of proximity between the restaurant and the garden?
The restaurant is in the casino. The garden is directly behind the racetrack.
Okay.
So as you're coming around the hotel, around the racetrack, there's a stop sign, and it's right off to the left-hand side as you're headed towards the casino.
Well, I guess it's got to be pretty close if you're heading out there to get vegetables every day.
Right. It's incredibly close. It takes me about 5 minutes to get from the kitchen to the garden. And I'm out there literally every day during the summer, picking fresh vegetables for dinner service every night.
This looks delicious, and we're running out of time, but you've created this very, very quickly. Of course, we've already had the eggs prepared earlier, so I'll get out of your way while you get the eggs out of there. But it looked, the vegetables, this is all fresh, very simple. John's playing this down. I'll probably make a mess of this, but this is all very simple and fairly healthy.
It is fairly healthy. Everything is, the majority of everything on here is from our garden, and the egg has just been lightly poached, and it's a great seasonal fresh dish.
Oh, look at that. This is fantastic. That looks great. It smells delicious.
We'll just finish it up with a little bit of roasted cipollini onion and a roasted pepper from the garden. I'm mentally taking notes. I think this is probably the only time you'll find me quiet when there's food around. But this looks great. So we've created both a cold dish and a hot dish, right,
all using these wonderful fresh vegetables. John, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
We love having you here. We're very excited about the garden and the fact that people can go to the restaurant and have this fresh produce, which is just such a rarity these days. And if you need anyone to help you eat that, I can help you out.
Not a problem.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here.
No problem. It was a pleasure.